This week on Winter Weigh-In, we review the final black type race of the season, taken out by Platinum Diamond. We also welcome Josh Parker, Premiership winning jumps jockey, to the show after he secures the top title. Plus, we reflect on the season that was and the one that is to come. All of that right here on Weigh-In. Hello everyone, welcome to Winter Weigh-In. Great to have your company on the show. Hamish McNeil joins me in studio today, and Hamish, congratulations. Pretty successful weekend.
Yeah, definitely. It was one of my better weekends of racing. Finally got the monkey off my back just in time for the bigger races coming round. But yeah, I'm looking to breaking down some of the races from later on. Yeah,
we can do that. Have a look at a couple of features from Te Aroha. Sam Weatherly joins us from the comfort of his own home. And Sam, a little bit of an up and down weekend in terms of flat racing, all of which we can review.
Thanks, Emily. Yes, plenty to discuss over the past weekend. Plenty of highs and plenty of lows, but we'll tuck into that a little bit later on.
We sure will. For now, let's look back on the weekend that was and recap the weekend of racing. You got to take control of your life, make it right, hey, you have so much to show for yourself. Yeah, take control of your life, you will right, hey, I wanna be at your side for every step of the way.
But Platinum Diamond in front, and she's too good. Platinum Diamond shines bright on the rider.
She's an amazing horse. I was very confident.
Diamond Jack in drop of something, having a Titanic struggle, and Diamond Jack got up to win the cup.
Mark's done a great job with him. He was the fittest and best horse here. Abu Dhabi Invisible now on the inside. In fact, it's going to be El Damo.
He's by far my favourite now. He just gives and gives.
But he's going to run down to the post and he'll win it. Billy Boy for Joshua Parker. But it's Leah Tromland and Emily Farr in charge, and they're going to hold out the cavalry. It'll be Leah Tromland to win it.
And Tarapa, he made a little bit of a noise, so we put the noseband on, and he's just come back every single time. So he's a superstar for me.
A great weekend of action from all around the country. And of course, we had the treat of flat racing and jumps racing over the weekend. Let's start with the last black type race of the season. And it was, of course, the Ryder Stakes. Sam Weatherly will bring you in. Platinum Diamond successful down there on the rail, and a second consecutive victory at stakes level. And just looking at the ride here, Bruno didn't go around a horse and stuck hard to the inside.
Yep, she's a lovely filly, Emily. She's you'd love to have her in the stable. She's got her ears pinned back, and it looks like she just gives her all every start she goes out there. So going forward, she's probably going to go for a little bit of a break now and head sort of look backwards from the 1,000 guineas, and she's not going to be out of it at all. She's a winner. She tries hard, and she will be very competitive come Christchurch if she gets down there.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, because obviously in the media post-race, Connection sort of said, we don't think she's just a wet tracker. We feel there's more to her. Is that your opinion of her?
Yeah, definitely. And as you said before about the ride, Bruno sort of stuck hard up against the inside, and I heard Lisa say that the inside hard up against the fence might have been just as good as coming right out wide. So they obviously had a plan. It worked out. She's a winner. He's won the race by his ride. Bruno's just riding incredibly well, and continues to step up and really adapting to the New Zealand style over here. So they're becoming a formidable partnership.
Yeah, you make a good point there around Bruno, and he really has made great impacts in terms of that Central District's riding ranks. And I predict that there's going to be a pretty good next season in line for him, especially with the weights he can ride and the ability that he's shown this season already.
Yeah, for sure. And if he's willing to travel, which by all accounts I've heard that he will, he's a big chance of he'll be right in the market for the Jockeys Premiership anyway. He'll ride a lot of winners. He gets a lot of support, and if we see him coming up north, he'll be a force to be reckoned with.
Also want to make special mention to Hello Yumzane. He was doing such a marvellous job with his progeny. He had a Group 2 winner in France called Godspeed. You got horses, Sam, like Cream Tart, Lucy in the Sky, Platinum Diamond, of course, who won the Ryder Stakes, Azarax, who was successful at Wyong, Hello Romeo, Ramala. He's made such a great impact, hasn't he, in a short space of time?
Yeah, and we've actually got one there, colt called Bulgari, who's 1 from 1, and he's a very exciting prospect for our stable as well. So they just have great attitudes. They want to be racehorses, and I love them to bits. So I think he's going to do a terrific job at stud.
Yeah, let's leave Otaki and to get you up to Te Rapa, where, of course, we had the Taumarunui meeting. The feature was the Taumarunui Cup, and it was taken out by Diamond Jack. And obviously, the key, Sam, was in getting this horse on terms early, and I think Sam Collett did the best she could.
That's right. He's got a few tricks up his sleeve. Look, he still wasn't brilliantly away, but he was 5 lengths better off than what he has been. So that was probably the winning of the race. As we see, he's got up there by probably a neck margin. But I thought going into the race that this was his race to lose. He had the right form lines coming into it, and Mark's team's going incredibly well. I couldn't quite get a hold of Mark to find out where he's going next, but I'm sure wherever he'll go, he'll be competitive. I know they were talking possibly jumping him at some stage, but the way he's going on the flat, I'd say he might keep those jumps away for a little bit.
What did you make of the beaten horses? Obviously, some good runs in behind. Quick Fire, Drop of Something, a couple to mention.
Yep, Drop of Something is going really well, and he had his chance to win. I thought Quick Fire was incredibly brave. Nothing sort of went right. Jasmine had to push forward and do a lot of work, and it just told late. So she's probably one to follow out of that.
Yeah, it looks that way, doesn't it? And Diamond Jack, of course, narrowly denied victory in 2024. So Sweet Redemption, great feature success for Sam Collett as well, 6-year-old son of Jackleberry, who makes it 5 from 31. Let's get you on to the other open handicap over the 1,300 metres. And this was taken out by the Inform Force of Nature, Sam. They've spaced his races, and he's putting together quite a nice, tidy record.
Yeah, Emily, he's 5 from 5 now at Te Rapa, so striking at 100%, and this was just an arrogant win. He was ridden beautifully, given his chance, given clear air, and he won like I thought he would, and it was good to see. Look, Dusty Road's a good wet tracker, and he operates well at Te Rapa as well, so he's put a bit of space on him, and the plan, I think, with him is they're going to go again in a Saturday week. So it'll be 2 weeks from his last start, another Open 1200 at Te Rapa. And then if he sort of wins that or runs really well, he'll go to the Foxbridge, where he'll be very, very competitive.
Yeah, he will, especially with his love for Te Rapa. They find a very suitable race, don't they? And I guess interesting to see what he can do over a little bit more ground, obviously being the progeny of Savabeel. They've given him time, and they are certainly reaping the rewards of that. They were the sort of positives from that Te Rapa meeting, but Sam, we've got to touch on that horrific fall which involved 4 horses coming down. And before we get to you, Sam, let's get an update from John Otham with regards to the condition of those jockeys.
Certainly the worst news was on Ace Lawson Carroll. He's suffered quite a few fractures. He's got a fractured skull, collarbone, pelvis, femur and ribs, so obviously Ace will be out of action for quite a while. The other riders were all particularly lucky, really, when you look at the seriousness of the fall, particularly Ashley Strawbridge, who was the first one that came down, and probably initially the most concern was around her, but she was released from hospital last night with scans and x-rays just being clear, so they let her out in a neck brace. She's still got a bit of neck soreness, and will have to go back for a check-up, etc., but hopefully comes out of it relatively unscathed, other than a concussion. Hayley Hessman, again, a possible concussion there, and just has a large hematoma on her leg. So again, x-rays were clear, and she was allowed out last night as well. And the 4th rider, Rehan Gorerama, just had back soreness yesterday. Didn't end up having to go to hospital, but was quite sore last night and hence pulled out of today. He'll also undergo a concussion test and just have probably have an x-ray on his back just to make sure that there's nothing fractured there.
Yeah, so as you hear there, obviously Ace Lawson Carroll, the most severely impacted as a result of the fall, but great to hear that everyone is going to be okay, and good stuff to hear the horses are all okay as well. Sam, let's just sort of unpack what unfolded. Obviously, it involved Ashley Strawbridge and Hugo Cubo early in the piece.
Yeah, that's right. It's I feel for both parties involved, really. Unfortunately, it's just a little bit of inexperience on both ends. As a senior rider, we can sort of see the play and read the race 99 times out of 100, hopefully, and we sort of know what's going to happen a little wee way before it does eventuate. But look, that just comes from riding, going round and round and round. It's an unfortunate event that what's happened. But look, the things like this sort of go on and near on in every race. We just don't see it because you can go so close to clipping a heel, and we're dealing within millimetres. So if you watched every race that went round, you'd near on see it 9 times out of 10. So it's very unfortunate. I'm just very sort of, I guess we're very lucky that all riders are sort of relatively okay. Obviously Ace is injured and he'll be pretty sore for a wee while, and Ashley's very, very lucky. But also the horses are all right too. So it was, look, for as bad as it looked, I think we've near on got the best result out of it.
Yeah, we have, and sending our best wishes to Ace Lawson Carroll. And Hamish, obviously you work pretty closely with Ace, and you do have an update around him.
Yeah, I just got off the phone with Sean before I arrived in studio, and he was on his way down. He was supposed to get an operation on his shoulder this afternoon, but there was some technicalities around that, and that's been delayed. But he's in good spirits, and he's a tough little kid. And yeah, look, we're all going to be behind him and help him out wherever we can. So yeah,
and at least he can make a full recovery. That is the most important thing. Obviously, Stephen Hunt is a regular on the show here at Winter Weigh-In, and now we get the opportunity to run the numbers and find out what were the peak performances from the weekend. This week, well, we're focusing in on Otaki, and you can see it was a couple of open handicaps that delivered in terms of peak performances. Pride of Aspen and Rein It In, the top two, knock it off, filling that third spot. So race 3, Pride of Aspen, was the top performer from the Otaki meeting. And interestingly, a little bit different from New Plymouth the week prior, just one leader that won at Otaki, with winners coming as far back as 3.7 lengths. So that's the numbers from Otaki, and obviously head to trackside.co.nz for Stephen's full review of the weekend. Let's get you along to some of the jumps action from Sunday, and we kick things off with the hurdle event. This was the Peter and Jess Brosnan Open Hurdle, taken out by our Damo. And Hamish, a good opportunity to bring you in. Obviously, our Damo didn't particularly get over the last well, but really rallied there on the flat.
Yeah, no, he's shown a lot of heart after the last. I think the winner of the race is probably getting back down to the rail. He surprised me a lot, this horse. I was behind the gates and I was speaking to a couple of the jockeys, and I thought the track would be far too good for him after what he won on at Wellington in that absolute slog. But he's clearly a horse with a lot of upside, and as Ashley said in his interview afterwards, he's quickly become very much a favourite of his. I was very, very impressed with my lad out of the race at Abu Dhabi. He's run a real nice third. He's just finding his form again. I think he's going to be right there come great New Zealand hurdle.
Obviously, for Ashley Dascombe, he's based with Raymond Connors, I understand, and our Damo switched the jumps at just a 9th start, so a relatively quick rise into the jumping ranks.
Yeah, definitely, but you always have to respect something that's coming out of the Raymond Connors stables. You know, he's the years where him and Isaac Lupton dominated some very, very nice prestige steeplechase races and stuff. Yeah, you've always got to respect the jumper at Raymond's.
And for Ashley, a dream start here in New Zealand. You mentioned that our Damo become his favourite horse, obviously provided him with a couple of thrills.
Yeah, I mean, it's his first 2 winners he's ridden in New Zealand, so he's definitely a horse he's not going to forget anytime soon, is he?
No, he's not, and we've really had that European influx in terms of riders. Obviously, we're catching up with Josh Parker shortly, another European import. We'll move on to the Te Aroha Cup, the Open Steeple, and this one was won by Leitrim Lad, who loves it at Te Aroha, and gave Emily Farr another victory. Pretty good flat performer. 11 wins, is it, on the flat prior to jumping, and gets another tough effort.
Yeah, he is an absolute marvel of a horse, and he loves ripping around Te Aroha. He loves the live fences there, and Emily and this horse have a great affinity. I think she's won 4 on him now. She's what? That's the 99th, so she's 1 away from the 100, and yeah, he's a great animal. Yeah.
He is a great animal, isn't he? Obviously, he finished midfield in the Waikato Hunt Cup, and there was a gear change, wasn't there? And that sort of helped.
There was a gear change. I do also know, I was speaking to Emily after the race on Sunday, and she was saying he got the first fence wrong at Tarapa, and he never got his chance to find his feet and get to the front. I thought it might have been a tactics error or something there, but she said no, the horse just never found his feet, so they brought him back to Tarapa, to Tiara, where he's happy. And it's paid off dividends for them.
It has, and for Eamon Green, obviously bred, races and trains the horse. You got the trifecta, haven't you? The real thrill from start to finish, Hamish.
Yeah, Eamon, he's another character in racing, and yeah, fair play to him. I'm over the moon for him.
We were talking about Josh Parker being on the show, and he is able to join us now. And Josh, we can sort of crown you the Premiership winning jumps jockey of the year. Congratulations.
No, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's some achievement. You know, it's something that I've always wanted to do since going over to New Zealand last year, and luckily on my second season I've been able to do it. So I wouldn't have been able to do it without the backing of all the owners and trainers. So yeah, but great, real good stuff. Tell
me about some of those relationships that you've sort of forged over your 2 seasons in New Zealand. Who are the people that have really stood out to you?
Oh, well, I based down with Kevin when I first came, and he was a massive part of my career down over in New Zealand. Same with his sons, just teaching me bit by bit about how different New Zealand racing is on how to ride races over here and how different this is over jumping. But then I've also been lucky to build connections with Joe Rathbone, who's given me the legend of Billy Boy, and he's looked after me every time I've rode him. Also, like people like Jess and Pete Brosnan, they've been great to me by giving me a nice winner on Squire. I think that's a nice horse. So yeah, also people like Harvey and Ann Wilson with Jerry Coop, and even Barry Peterson. You know, just constantly giving me opportunities on nice horses. Just it makes my life a lot easier, should we say.
Yeah, obviously, Josh, we're seeing you come across the line there on Billy Boy. It was definitely a lot of emotions. Obviously, a massive release for you. Your first Premiership win, I have to congratulate you. You know, fair play to you. Something I've not been able to do yet, so you've got one up on me there. Out of your 10 wins this season, though, what would you? I mean, you've touched on Billy Boy, but just talk about him a little bit. What is it like riding a horse like him?
Billy Boy, where do I start? No, I mean, literally from going in at Wanganui of a morning for riding for schooling in for Joe, and then to getting the first ride at Woodville, and just watching his flat races, knowing that he goes from the front and that's where he's sort of happy. And I mean, the sheer size of him makes hurdles look like ponies to him. So jumping's not a problem over those little ones, which I was coming to on the weekend and thought, oh, how's he going to take to the steeplechasers? But they didn't faze him either. Obviously, we had a little hiccup, but other than that, he's just an incredible horse. I mean, he's so tough from going down in that slog at Wellington to win that big race, to give my first prestigious race, and then obviously to go and do that over at Tiara this weekend has just been incredible. And Jo has done such an amazing job with him. She's just an absolute master at what she does.
Yeah, Jo definitely is an amazing horsewoman. I know she takes this horse out hunting. In fact, she hunted him before he won the Wellington Hurdle. So, yeah. We touched on, obviously, you're a foreigner, you're an import. What are your plans looking forward for the rest of the, what are you doing at the end of the season, Josh?
So I'm planning on staying over here. Would like to go over to Australia. Would have a big idea of trying to ride in a few of the high weights. Love to try and go and get into the Jericho, that'd be great. But we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, Dean Parker has told me a lot about his trips over to Australia, and they all sound very positive. I'll definitely be back here next season for the jumps racing. I think it's brilliant. But I'd also like to try and see if I can pop my head over to Australia, and if I get a little bit of a jump every race, every so often over there, then I think that'd be great. But we'll just take each step as it comes, really.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea, Josh. Obviously, Grand National Week is fast approaching. What are you most looking forward to down at Riccarton?
Being Hamish. No, I've got captain's run. I've got captain's run down there. I think he should run quite a nice race, actually. He's a big horse that's got a brilliant jump on him. Quite a relaxing horse. I see that he's not too keen, which is great for me because I quite like those relaxing horses. But no, I think it's going to be quite good, actually. I'm looking forward to going down there. As I said, I'm not entirely too sure what else I've got down there, but definitely have captain's run. And I just think he'll run a big race. I schooled him last time at Cambridge a few weeks back, and yeah, he did it superbly. Did put a foot wrong, so hopefully he can do that on the big day.
Exactly right. Well, Josh, great to have you on the show. Congratulations on the Premiership, and best of luck for Grand National Week. And we look forward to seeing you back next season.
No, thank you very much for having me. Take care.
Yeah, great representative for Jumps Racing, Josh Parker, and a very well-deserved premiership in his name. We're going to take a break. On the back of that, we continue with our reviews and a little bit of news.
But Via Sistina storms away with 150 to go. She's 5 lengths in front. It's going to be a Cox Plate round, and James McDonald, a century of the very best. Via Sistina by 7 lengths.
I love this race. I love this place. And to win a Cox Plate with Chris Waller, who is my greatest supporter, and it's so special. It's so fitting he's brought up my 100s, and to do it in such a prestigious race like the Cox Plate, I'm blessed, so blessed.
It's Willie do it, Golden Century, and battling away the Doctor of Love, but Willie, yes he will, Willie do it, wins the Trackside New Zealand Derby.
Huge thrill for us, it's just massive for everyone and I. So it's sort of a dream come true, and yeah, just keep on shaking people's hands. There's so many owners here.
But with 100 metres left to go, Palla's got this well and truly right. Pia is roaring away, and Pia will bolt it in the way, Wilson.
Yeah, no, it's super. We've been here a month now, and we bred this horse, and I own a bit of him as well. So he's been pretty special to the family. I'll give a big mention to my wife Lou at home. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it. She's been going through a bit of a health scare at the moment, but so big shout out to her.
You might have guessed the task that we were assigned this week on Winter Way, and it was to identify our season highlight. Of course, mine was Via Sistina in the Cox Plate after the trials and tribulations on the Tuesday, the fall with James McDonald, and then to come out and get your 100th Group 1 in a Cox Plate. That was significant. For you, Hamish, will he do it right at the top of the pile?
Definitely couldn't go past the Derby, especially after what happened in the Avondale Guineas. You know, everyone came out doubting him and things like that. And I knew what horse he was, and yeah, the performance he put on, yeah, spine tingling for me.
It was a real season high, wasn't it? He was the 3-year-old of the year. Look at the emotion, Hamish. We can see it.
Yeah.
Certainly enjoying that one. And it was all about the emotion for you too, Sam, obviously with Pia picking up victory. A very nervous watch, which we enjoyed in the studio on that Saturday.
Yes, it was. And look, it was just relief for the family. And also I was thrilled for Mum as well. Look, she'd been pretty crook, so it come at a good time. It lifted our spirits a bit, so it was just good to see a good horse go over there and win in Australia.
Well, that was the season that was. What about the season that is to come? We were asked to pick our predictions for the 25-26 season. And Hamish, what did you like?
First of all, I've gone for Abu Dhabi to come out and win the Great New Zealand Hurdle. I've got Willie Do It to come out and get his maiden Group 1 win in Aussie. I think he's a horse that's going to have a lot of promise over there. And after speaking to Josh, I'll tie it in there. I've got to back myself again to win a premiership. I've been out here long enough. Surely I can get one done. Surely
you can. We're behind you as well. Sam Weatherly, what about for you? What are your predictions for the 25-26 season?
I've gone with Pierre. He stayed over in Australia. He's going to Sydney. I think we can pick off a handicap Group 1 over there. He's pretty low on the weight still, so I think he can win a Group 1 in Australia this season. I'm taking Jesco to win the National Great New Zealand Steeplechase Double. I think he's the best jumper we have going round, so hopefully he backs me up there. And I'm going for a bit of a not an outsider, I should say, but I'm going for Stephen Marsh to win the Trainers Premiership for the first time. We just see Tiako are taking some of their better horses over to Australia, so that'll even the ranks up a bit more, and Stephen's been getting closer and closer each season, so I think this is the one where he's going to get it done.
There was a bit of eye rolling here in the studio from Hamish with your Jesco in the middle. We will have to agree to differ on that one. And for me, well, I went with Damask Rose to win a stakes race in Australia, Sedelius to win the Melbourne Cup after a dazzling winter carnival. And I think Bruno Queiroz, we talked about at the start of the show, will pick up a Group 1 victory in the 25-26 season. All of that's to come. We can't wait for some of those season highlights. Let's get you along to some of the news that's been happening throughout the week, and we start with the Breeders' Awards. We saw Kai Ying Rising, Sam, taking all honours at the Breeders' Awards. He was Horse of the Year, the 8-carat Broodmare of the Year, successful in the form of Missy Moo. It was a real one for the ages for Fraser Oreton family.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously we know how good he is, and we're going to look forward to seeing him come Everest time. And Missy Moo, she's going to go down in the record books. I think if someone had said that to Fraser many years ago when he bred Missy Moo to our stallion here, which Kai Ying Rising is by, that he would have thought that they were dreaming. So well done to them.
My other highlight for the night was surprising Steve Davis, who took out Personality of the Year. He didn't know he was winning Personality of the Year, and he thought he was interviewing someone else. He had his evening all sorted. He was the MC with me, and we really caught him on the hop, and you could see what it means to him. His family made a late arrival, but thoroughly well deserved. One of, if not the best auctioneer in the world, and great to see him celebrated along with a host of other stars. It was really good stuff from the Breeders' Awards on Saturday night. We move along to Adam Scott, who picked up his first training victory. Congratulations to Adam Scott, who got a very well-deserved win with Another Won't Hurt. No doubt that was great for connections, and they would have enjoyed that thoroughly after the first training win. Good stuff. It was awesome to see the post-race afterwards. Lots of happy connections after that. And then finally, the Mighty Spa was successful in Australia, Hamish, and really added to the action in terms of New Zealand horses over the ditch. Yeah,
it was a very dominant win off top weight. I think he carried 74 or 75 kilos. Yeah, very, very dominant win. And it'll be interesting to see if, from all accounts I hear, he's heading for the Grand National over in Aussie. And it'll be interesting to see if he comes up against Stern Idol. I was reading a couple of reports recently, still unsure whether Stern Idol goes for it, but I think that's going to be a big match race, and hopefully the Mighty Spa can take up the ranks of something like Talio Twinkle Toes, another great out of New Zealand. Yeah, he's a beautiful horse too, isn't he, the Mighty Spa. To wrap up the show, we need our Winter Whispers from the team, always a highlight of the week, and we start our Winter Whispers with you, Sam Weatherly. What have you identified for us?
Mine's a little bit different this week. My Winter Whisper, Ebony Gem. She didn't make it out of the bird. Well, she did make it out of the birdcage in a unfortunate turn of events yesterday. We had a wee accident in there, and she got loose and wasn't able to run. And I think, unfortunately, morning of the race, as I said, only bad luck gets her beat today. So I've put the rocker on myself, but horse is A-OK. She'll look to race somewhere again in a couple of weeks' time, and she will be winning. She's a very, very nice filly.
Yeah, and for me, I'm going to take you to Rock Up Ralph in race 1 from Tiara on Sunday. It's not just because I want to see myself on TV. I do think this horse is in a great vein of form at the moment, and whether he runs on the flat next start, I was speaking to Sean Phelan before studio today, there's a special conditions race at Woodville the week after Grand National week for, I think it's $50,000. And he is a horse that, if aimed for that, would be very competitive.
And I'm going to take you across the Tasman to Australia, to New South Wales, where we saw a nice running of this horse in Coibito, who made really good ground for Gabe Waterhouse and Adrian Bott. The 1,100 metres a little bit sharp for Coibito, but keep an eye out for this horse when it gets over more ground. I think they're looking at the Flight States over the mile as the end goal and working back from that. So keep a watch on Coibito. It makes up lovely ground late to the line, and certainly want to watch it heading forward. Well, that's it from us. Another show done and dusted. It's been great to have your company. A big thank you to Hamish and, of course, to Sam as well. We'll be back next week to do it all again.